In 44 BC, Cato the Younger faced an impossible choice. Julius Caesar had defeated his forces, and the Roman Republic, everything Cato had fought for, was collapsing into dictatorship. Caesar offered Cato a pardon, knowing that Cato's acceptance would legitimize his rule. It was a generous offer. Most men would have taken it. Cato refused. But he didn't just refuse, he walked away completely. Rather than live under tyranny, or give Caesar the propaganda victory of his surrender, Cato chose to end his own life. History remembers this as an act of principle so powerful that even Caesar wept when he heard of it. Cato understood something fundamental. Sometimes walking away is the only move that preserves your power. The Stoics recognized that in a world where we control very little, we always control one thing: our choice to stay or go. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it, and it is in your power to wipe out this judgment now." Most people spend their lives in situations that diminish them. Toxic relationships, soul-crushing jobs, destructive environments, one-sided friendships. Because they don't understand the power of walking away. They negotiate, compromise, adapt, and endure, thinking that staying makes them strong. But often, staying makes them weak. Today, we're exploring why walking away is not weakness, not giving up, not failure, but often the ultimate expression of power, self-respect, and strategic wisdom. We'll examine when to walk away, how to do it with dignity, and why the willingness to leave gives you more power than almost anything else. The paradox is this: the moment you're truly willing to walk away from anything, a relationship, a job, a negotiation, a situation, is the moment you gain all the power. Let's understand why. The foundation. Understanding why we stay, the chains we forge. Before we can understand the power of walking away, we must understand why walking away is so difficult. The Stoics would say we forge our own chains through attachment, through stories we tell ourselves, through the judgments we make about what leaving would mean. Seneca wrote, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." We stay in diminishing situations, not because leaving is actually impossible, but because we've imagined catastrophic consequences that may never materialize. We stay because of sunk cost fallacy. I've already invested 5 years in this relationship. I've been at this company for a decade. I've put so much energy into this friendship. The Stoics would point out that past investment is gone regardless. The only question is whether continuing forward serves you. We stay because of fear. Fear of being alone, fear of starting over, fear of the unknown, fear of judgment from others, fear of admitting we were wrong. Epictetus taught that most of our fears are about things that haven't happened and may never happen. We're torturing ourselves with imagination. We stay because of identity. We've built our sense of self around this job, this relationship, this situation. Walking away feels like losing ourselves. But Marcus Aurelius would remind us, you are not your role. You are not your circumstances. You are the awareness that observes all of these things. We stay because we don't believe we deserve better. Somewhere along the way, we internalize the belief that this is as good as it gets for us. The Stoics understood this as a failure of proper self-valuation, not arrogance, but accurate assessment of your worth as a rational being capable of virtue. We stay because we're hoping things will change. We tell ourselves stories. They'll realize how much they need me. Things will get better eventually. This is just a rough patch. Hope without evidence becomes delusion that keeps us trapped. The cost of staying. The Stoics were pragmatists. They asked, what is the actual cost of your choices? When you stay in a situation that diminishes you, what are you paying? You're paying in time, the only truly irreplaceable resource. Every day you stay is a day you're not spending building something better. You're paying in energy. Managing a toxic situation drains you, leaving less energy for growth, creation, and joy. You're paying in self-respect. Each day you tolerate the intolerable. You teach yourself that you're not worth better treatment. You're paying an opportunity cost. While you're stuck here, you're missing opportunities that require you to be available and energized. You're paying in health. Chronic stress from bad situations literally shortens your life and diminishes its quality. Seneca observed, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Staying where you shouldn't be is the ultimate waste, wasting the only life you have in a situation that doesn't deserve it. The first power, walking away, reclaims your self-respect. The foundation of all power. Self-respect is the foundation of every other form of power. Without it, you're negotiating from weakness in every area of life. And nothing builds self-respect like the willingness to walk away from what diminishes you. Think about it. When you stay in a situation where you're consistently disrespected, undervalued, or mistreated, what are you teaching yourself? You're teaching yourself that this treatment is acceptable, that you don't deserve better, that you're not worth standing up for. Every day you stay reinforces this message to your subconscious. But when you walk away, when you say with your actions, not just your words, "I will not accept this treatment," you send a completely different message to yourself. You declare that you have standards, that you honor those standards, that your well-being matters more than comfort, familiarity, or others' approval. Marcus Aurelius, who had every material comfort and all external power, still wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Your thoughts about yourself, whether you're worth standing up for, worth walking away for, determine everything else. The practice of self-honoring. Exit. The Stoics practiced what they called oikeiosis, proper self-love, based on your nature as a rational being capable of virtue. This isn't narcissism, it's accurate self-valuation. Walking away when you should is an expression of this. Identify your non-negotiables. What treatment, what situations, what behaviors are simply not acceptable, regardless of other factors? Write them down. These are your boundaries. Recognize when boundaries are violated. Don't rationalize, minimize, or excuse. When a non-negotiable is violated, acknowledge it clearly. This crosses my boundary. Communicate once, clearly. You don't owe endless explanations or negotiations. State your boundary once. This behavior is not acceptable to me. If it continues, you have your answer. Act on your boundaries. A boundary without consequences is just a suggestion. When boundaries are repeatedly violated despite clear communication, the consequence is walking away. This isn't punishment. It's self-respect. Walk away without anger. Seneca taught that anger is temporary madness. When you walk away, do it from a place of calm clarity, not reactive rage. This situation doesn't serve me, so I'm choosing to leave. That's power. The result: when you walk away from what doesn't honor you, several transformations occur. Your self-respect deepens immediately. You've proven to yourself that you mean what you say, that you have standards you'll uphold, even when it's uncomfortable. Your future boundaries become more credible. People learn that when you state a boundary, you mean it. This reduces future violations because the consequences are clear. You create space for better situations. You can't say yes to what's right for you while you're stuck in what's wrong for you. Walking away creates the space for something better to enter. Your internal dialogue shifts. Instead of, "I have to tolerate this," you start thinking, "I deserve better, and I'm willing to leave until I find it." This is the mindset of someone with options, with power. The person who can walk away is never truly stuck. This knowledge itself is liberating. The second power, walking away, reveals who deserves you, the ultimate test. Here's a truth that many people never realize. Walking away is the only reliable test of whether someone or something actually values you. Words are cheap. Promises cost nothing. Only when you're willing to leave do you discover whether they're willing to change. In relationships, romantic, professional, or friendship, people often take you for granted when they know you'll stay regardless of how they treat you. Your presence becomes expected, your value assumed, your loyalty exploited. They've learned that poor treatment has no consequences, so poor treatment continues or escalates. But the moment you're genuinely willing to walk away, the moment you stop negotiating from a position of, "I need this to work," and start operating from, "This needs to be worth my presence or I'm gone," everything changes. The person or situation either steps up to match your standards, or it reveals that it never valued you enough to deserve you. Epictetus taught, "If you wish to be good, first believe that you are bad." Applied here, if you wish to know if someone truly values you, first be willing to lose them. Only when loss is real does true value become visible. The practice of strategic withdrawal. The Stoics weren't naive about human nature. They understood that people respond to incentives and consequences. Strategic withdrawal creates both. Stop making yourself constantly available. The person or situation that takes you for granted does so partly because you've trained them that you're always there. Create space. Be less available. Let them experience your absence. Communicate your standards without negotiating them. "I need this relationship to include respect and reciprocity," is a statement, not an opening offer. You're not negotiating down your standards. You're stating what continuing requires. Prepare to actually walk away. This isn't a bluff. Bluffs get called. You must be genuinely prepared to leave. Marcus Aurelius practiced premeditatio malorum, premeditation of loss. Mentally prepare for the possibility of walking away so you can do it if needed. Watch actions, not words. When you've communicated your standards and begun pulling back, ignore what they say. Watch what they do. Do their actions show genuine change or just temporary performance to keep you around? Set a timeline internally. How long will you give this situation to improve? Be specific with yourself. "I'll give this 3 months. If these behaviors haven't genuinely changed by then, I'm walking away." Then, honor that timeline. The result: when you employ strategic withdrawal, one of two things happens, both of which serve you. Option 1, they step up. The person or situation changes meaningfully because they realize they're about to lose you, and they actually value you. Now you're in a genuinely better situation, one where your value is recognized and your standards are met. Option 2, they don't step up. Nothing changes, or changes are superficial and temporary. Now you have definitive proof that they don't value you enough to meet basic standards. This gives you the clarity to walk away, completely without doubt or regret. Either way, you win. Either the situation improves to where it should have been all along, or you gain the clarity to leave what was never going to serve you. Both outcomes are better than staying in diminished circumstances forever. The person who can't walk away will be taken for granted. The person who can and will walk away commands respect, reciprocity, and genuine value. Or they walk away and find these things elsewhere. The third power, walking away, gives you negotiating leverage. The power of options. In any negotiation, whether for a job, a relationship, a business deal, or any situation where you want something from someone, your leverage is directly proportional to your willingness to walk away. The person who needs the deal gets the worst terms. The person who can walk away gets the best terms. This is game theory confirmed by experience. When the other party knows you won't walk away, they have zero incentive to give you more. Why would they? You've already shown you'll accept less. But when they believe you'll genuinely walk away if terms aren't acceptable, suddenly they have incentive to improve the offer. Seneca understood this in his dealings with emperors. He maintained wealth and independence precisely so he could walk away from imperial service if necessary. This independence gave him influence. Emperors had to consider his counsel seriously, because they couldn't simply command him through economic necessity. The same principle applies everywhere. In job negotiations, the candidate who has other offers or can afford to keep looking gets better compensation. The desperate candidate gets whatever is offered. In relationships, the person who's complete as an individual and could leave gets treated well. The person who clings desperately gets taken for granted. In business deals, the party who can walk away gets favorable terms. The party who needs the deal accepts unfavorable ones. In any situation, leverage flows to those who don't need the outcome more than they need their standards met. The practice of leverage creation. The Stoics believed in controlling what you can control. You can't control others' offers or behavior, but you can control your own options and willingness to walk away. Build your BATNA, best alternative to a negotiated agreement. Before entering any negotiation, develop your best alternative. What will you do if this doesn't work out? The stronger your alternative, the more leverage you have. Maintain multiple options. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. If you're job hunting, pursue multiple opportunities. If you're dating, don't become exclusive before commitment. Options create leverage. Develop independence. Financial independence, emotional independence, social independence. These create the capacity to walk away. Marcus Aurelius worked constantly to maintain internal independence, even as emperor. You don't need to be wealthy. You need to not need more than you can provide yourself. Never negotiate against yourself. Don't lower your standards before you're even asked to. State what you want clearly. If they can't or won't meet it, walk away. Don't do their negotiating for them by preemptively compromising. Be willing to hear no and walk away. Many people avoid asking for what they want because they fear rejection. The Stoic accepts that some situations won't work out, and that's fine. Better to walk away than to stay in something inadequate. The result: when you build genuine willingness and capacity to walk away, your negotiating position transforms. You get better offers because the other party knows they need to meet your standards or lose you. You avoid bad deals because you're not desperate enough to accept them. You're taken more seriously because your willingness to walk away signals that you know your worth. You experience less anxiety in negotiations because you're not attached to any particular outcome. You'll take a good deal or walk away, both of which are acceptable. You develop reputation as someone with standards who can't be lowballed or manipulated into accepting less than their worth. The person who can't walk away will be exploited. The person who can and will walk away can't be exploited. They'll walk away first. This knowledge protects you in every negotiation, formal or informal. The fourth power. Walking away protects your energy and time. The economics of attention. The Stoics understood that time is the most valuable resource. Seneca devoted an entire essay to this, writing, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Every minute you spend in a situation that doesn't serve you is a minute stolen from your one precious life." Modern psychology adds another dimension. Every situation requires mental and emotional energy. Toxic relationships, unfulfilling jobs, draining friendships, dead-end situations, these are energy vampires. They consume your vitality, leaving you depleted for everything else. Think about the math. If a toxic situation consumes 60% of your mental energy, you only have 40% left for growth, creation, joy, and building better alternatives. But if you walk away from that situation, suddenly 100% of your energy is available for what actually serves you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." But sometimes what stands in the way is something you need to go around rather than through. Walking away from energy-draining situations is often the fastest path forward. The practice of ruthless energy management. The Stoics practiced what they called apatheia, not apathy, but wise emotional economy. They didn't waste energy on what they couldn't control or what didn't deserve their attention. Audit your energy expenses. Track for 1 week which situations, people, and activities energize you versus drain you. Be honest. Some things that seem productive are actually just exhausting. Calculate the opportunity cost. For every hour you spend managing a toxic situation, what could you be doing instead? What are you not building, not creating, not experiencing because this situation consumes you? Apply the 80-20 principle. Usually, 20% of situations produce 80% of your stress and energy drain. Identify that 20%. These are prime candidates for walking away. Practice energy boundaries. Just as you have behavioral boundaries, have energy boundaries. I will not spend more than X hours per week dealing with this situation. If a situation consistently exceeds your energy budget, walk away. Embrace JOMO, joy of missing out. Our culture pressures us to stay engaged with everything. The Stoics understood that saying no to some things allows you to fully say yes to others. Walk away from what drains you so you can run toward what energizes you. The result. When you walk away from energy-draining situations, you experience immediate and compound benefits. Immediate energy return. The day you walk away from a toxic situation, you feel lighter. The weight you didn't realize you were carrying lifts. Mental clarity increases. When you're not spending mental energy managing dysfunction, that energy becomes available for creativity, problem-solving, and strategic thinking. Health improves. Chronic stress from bad situations manifests as physical illness. Remove the source of stress, and health often improves markedly. You become more attractive to good opportunities. Success, quality relationships, and positive situations gravitate toward energized, positive people. Drain yourself on toxicity, and you repel what you actually want. You create a positive feedback loop. More energy, better choices, better situations, more energy. The opposite is also true. Less energy, Worse choices, worse situations, less energy. Walking away breaks the negative loop and starts the positive one. The person who stays in energy-draining situations becomes progressively more depleted. The person who walks away from them becomes progressively more vital. Over time, this difference compounds dramatically. The fifth power, walking away, is walking toward your future self. The path not taken. Every moment you stay somewhere you shouldn't be is a moment you're not somewhere you should be. This isn't just philosophical, it's practical reality. You can't build your best life while you're trapped in a life that doesn't serve you. Epictetus taught, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. But you can't become who you're meant to be while you're stuck being who this situation requires you to be. Walking away from what's wrong for you is walking toward who you're meant to become. Think about the person you want to be in 5 years. Does staying in your current situation move you toward that person or away from them? If the answer is away, then staying is betraying your future self for the comfort of your present self. The Stoics practiced negative visualization, imagining loss to appreciate what you have. But we should also practice future visualization, imagining what could be if we had the courage to leave what no longer serves us. Your future self is waiting for you to walk away from what's holding you back. The practice of future-oriented decision-making. Marcus Aurelius constantly asked himself, does this serve virtue? Does this make me better? We can apply this framework to staying versus leaving. Define your future self clearly. Write a detailed description of who you want to be in 5 years. What does that person value? How do they spend their time? What situations are they in? Assess gap between current and future. Now honestly assess, does your current situation move you toward that future self or away from them? If away, walking away is actually walking toward. Apply the regret minimization framework. Jeff Bezos used this when deciding to start Amazon. At age 80, would he regret trying and failing, or not trying at all? Apply this to leaving. At age 80, would you regret having left the situation or having stayed? Consider the person you're becoming by staying. You're not static. Every day in a situation shapes you. If you stay in toxicity for years, you become someone hardened, bitter, diminished. Is that who you want to be? Give yourself permission to change your mind about past choices. The Stoics understood that wisdom includes recognizing when previous decisions no longer serve you. Just because you chose this path doesn't mean you must walk it forever. Walking away is often the wisest response to new understanding. The result: when you walk away from what doesn't serve your future self, you create space for what does. You become available for better opportunities that were always there, but you couldn't access while stuck. You develop courage and decision-making capacity that serves you in every future decision. You build momentum toward who you're meant to be instead of staying stuck in who you've been. You inspire others with your courage to choose growth over comfort, future over past. You live without the regret of having stayed too long in something you knew wasn't right. 5 years from now, you'll either be grateful you walked away today, or you'll regret that you didn't. Very rarely does anyone regret walking away from what diminished them. Almost everyone regrets staying too long. The art of walking away, how to do it with dignity. The Stoic exit. Walking away is powerful, but how you walk away matters. The Stoics emphasized virtue in all actions. Even in leaving, you can demonstrate character. Walk away without burning bridges. Seneca advised, Treat your inferiors as you would be treated by your betters. Even when leaving a bad situation, maintain dignity. You never know when paths will cross again. Walk away without explanation to those who don't deserve it. You don't owe everyone a detailed justification. Sometimes, "this no longer works for me," is sufficient. The person who truly cares will accept this. The person who doesn't deserves no more. Walk away without looking back. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." Once you've decided to leave, leave completely. Don't hover, don't partially leave, don't keep one foot in the door. Walk away without bitterness. The Stoics understood that bitterness only harms the person holding it. You can leave a bad situation while wishing it well. Your departure is about moving towards something better, not punishing what you're leaving. Walk away having learned the lesson. Epictetus taught that every experience offers wisdom if we're willing to see it. What did this situation teach you? What patterns will you avoid next time? Extract the lesson so the experience serves your growth. The practice. Give clear notice when appropriate. In professional situations or formal relationships, give appropriate notice. This isn't for them, it's for your own integrity. Keep your reasons brief. "This is no longer aligned with my goals/values/needs is complete." You don't need to justify, explain, or convince. Stay firm if they attempt to negotiate. Expect offers to change, promises to improve, pleas to stay. If you've decided to leave, stay decided. Last-minute changes rarely stick. Handle your logistics cleanly. Return what needs returning. Settle what needs settling. Leave no loose ends that keep you connected when you're trying to disconnect. Allow yourself to grieve if needed. Even when leaving something bad, there's loss. Honor that briefly, then move forward. Don't let grief pull you back. And expected conclusion, the liberation of knowing you can leave. We've explored why walking away is the ultimate power move. It reclaims your self-respect by proving you have standards you'll uphold. It reveals who deserves you by testing whether they'll meet your standards. It gives you negotiating leverage by showing you're willing to lose bad deals. It protects your energy and time by removing drains on both. It moves you toward your future self by creating space for growth. But the deepest power of walking away isn't in the actual leaving, it's in knowing you can leave. Once you internalize that you're always one decision away from exit, everything changes. You're no longer trapped, you're choosing. Every day you stay becomes a choice, not a prison sentence. And when staying is a choice rather than helplessness, the entire dynamic transforms. Marcus Aurelius, who couldn't literally walk away from being emperor, still maintained the internal freedom of knowing he could walk away from life itself if necessary. This knowledge gave him power that no external force could touch. You have the same power. In any situation, you can walk away. You might not want to. The consequences might be uncomfortable, but you can. And knowing this, truly knowing it, means you're never powerless. The Stoics taught that the only true prison is the one we build in our minds, with our judgments and attachments. When you release the judgment that you must stay, when you release the attachment to specific outcomes, you discover you've always held the key to your own cell. Walking away isn't giving up. It's not weakness. It's not failure. It's the ultimate assertion of your power. The power to choose, the power to set standards, the power to honor yourself enough to leave what doesn't honor you. Sometimes the most powerful move you can make is to simply stand up, turn around, and walk away. That option is always available. That power is always yours. Use it wisely, but know it's there. because the person who can walk away from anything is never truly stuck anywhere. And that is freedom.